Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Metalheads Manifesto. And we're here on the third episode, going to be talking about something a little bit different than what we brought in last time. And on the first one, obviously, my
Mhm.
name is Kai. I'm here with Makai, and I put a challenge to him over the course of the week to have this episode come out, and hopefully, I can get some amusement out of what he's going to say.
Maybe.
Long story short, I've had him watch the Hellsing Abridged series from Team Four Star because he said he liked the Dragon Ball Abridged from them,
I mean,
and I
Dragon Ball
wanted
Abridged
him to
is
do
amazing, so it's okay.
and I wanted him to do a review on that since he's cruel and harsh and loving and caring, however you want to say it, with all of this other stuff. I want to hear how he handles doing a parodied anime review.
A
So
parodied
without
anime review. That's funny.
so
Well, you've also got to
without
remember, I've
wasting
like watched it like one time, so I've got to remember what I remember, which isn't that much. But
Well, I mean, you a lot of the times you react to songs you've only heard one time too.
yeah, but I do that directly after, if that makes sense. Like, so it's fresh in my head. I know it was today, but
Don't try to fuck with these people. You watched this today less than I don't know, it wasn't that long ago.
I literally just did a.
I know you do it on the
Yeah,
spot with the music, but we
yeah,
can't do that. We don't have
yeah.
that going.
Well, yeah, but I just did a 4 hour WoW stream as well. You got to remember.
We can't give these people a 6-hour stream of you pausing every 3 seconds on
That'll be
the
sick. I
anime.
should so do that. I know. Anyways.
Not to mention it'd be a good nightmare for you. Well, actually, maybe we should. It'd be a wonderful nightmare for you to edit that
Oh yeah,
if you needed to.
it would be insane. I would have to cut out like so much of it. But it's
But
already cut out, but yeah, yeah,
time
so we go.
without wasting any more time on the intros here about what we're gonna be doing, let's just get right to the meat of the matter with what we're here for right now.
Hmm.
And, let me ask you, what did you think about that particular project that they did?
I mean, you can tell that it was done on a yearly basis, if that makes sense. Like when you watch it canonically, like from episode 1 to episode 10, basically like straight through. It makes
Mhm,
sense, but it doesn't make sense. I would say because I've watched the original Hellsing, not very recently. The Hellsing Ultimate. I've watched the original. It's been
mhm.
many years. It was when it did first come out. Was it like 2015, something like that? But I don't know. The
And that
tone
was
of
a
it,
beautiful series.
yeah, the tone of it didn't feel right to me. Like as an abridged series, like they kind of lightened it too much, in my opinion. Because that series is very dark. It has like a lot of dark connotations to it, especially like Alucard and the way that he is. How he's more like
Yes.
a Dracula dark figure rather than the more light-hearted version we got in the abridged, should I say?
Yes.
But I don't know.
Basically, in my opinion, let me see if you agree
Mhm.
on this with me. I think they tried to due to the way Alucard seems to be in his source material, it almost felt like they wanted to play him in parody like if he was Deadpool.
Yeah, I know what you mean. I kind of get the opposite vibe where he's trying, like where he's trying to be annoying or he's trying to like purposefully disobey. Like in that kind of way. Like obviously he's his own soul, as he always is, even if he does have like the major and everything like that. Which he does follow. Like you have like the housing family and everything like that, which is all
Mhm.
part of the series. But I know it just felt like they made him too much that way. Like as an example, if I take it back to Dragon Ball Z Abridged, you can tell there was a
Yes.
lot of like heartedness, but you can tell the source material had like they kind of improved on it rather than make it to something that was very light-hearted. It still had the seriousness
Mhm.
about it. Even if we did have like cell singing and we had different things and we had like things that were there for pure memes and jokes and everything else. But yeah.
I mean, they gave Cell "We Are Number One" as his theme in that goddamn show for the abridged. I mean,
I mean, yeah, obviously, that's because that's him, man. He's like in this world, he would literally be the Ichigo of his world, I would say.
but we're going off target here. We gotta go to circle back around.
No, I know he will.
But
Uh,
okay, so you've given your,
I mean,
opinion of Alucard.
yeah.
Is there anything else about it? What let's do good and bad and ugly about let's just make that a thing. After you give your opinion, tell us what was good, bad, and ugly about these characters as we go through them, and that way I don't have to ask you every single
I'm,
time.
I mean, the only good character that I could see really was the man. I totally forgot her name. You know, the apprentice, the one who got bitten at the very beginning, that was cut out of the abridged
Paris.
mostly. Yeah, her. Like she was the only good character. Like her character arc still worked. The way that she eventually like drank blood, because that was missed out of the abridged as well completely, from what I could tell. Like the whole where she was refusing to drink blood and trying to keep her humanity side of it.
Mhm.
Like that bit was totally gone. But as for when she does drink blood and she does get that super duper power where she can literally, when she gets her arm cut off and was bleeding out, and obviously she drinks blood for that first time and just becomes OP as shit. Like it's
Yes.
that kind of way. Like I think her character arc was one of the best. I would say out of all of them.
Alright.
The major to me, or like Miss Hellsing should I call her? She is like she's cool, but I don't know. It feels like she's more of a mom to Alucard rather than an equal to Alucard, because Alucard respects her because he sees her that way, because he sees the family that way, not because of any other thing. It's not because of needing a mum like a mum figure. It's more of a like mutual benefit for the both in a
Yes.
weird fucked up way, should I say? So that bit kind of got ruined. The whole theme of the show, like even with all the blood and gore that was shown, it felt like I was watching a scary movie or something like that, where there was no weight onto the violence. Like, because that's what makes violence work, right? Like, especially in things like gore films, it's the sound effects, it's the tone you put onto it. Without any of those things there, and stripping that back, it turns it into a comedy. And I know it's meant to be that way, but it kind of like took all the weight away from the show, I would say.
Mhm.
But yeah,
So that's your good, bad, and ugly about it in that regard?
in that regard, I mean, like character to
In
character,
that
we can just go through all the characters if you really want to, but
Well, I mean, we won't go through all of them because, I mean, that would be redundant
mhm. I mean,
to
the
do
one bit
that.
that was the only bit I actually found funny was the God and Devil bit at the end, if that makes sense.
That
What?
was
Yeah.
that was a bit neat
Oh yeah.
there
Yeah.
because, um, I'll just run down and ask you about a few characters and what you thought of their portrayal and how much they, uh, deviated from their initial design or
Hmm.
if you think it was egregious or not, but so you said
Sure.
Ceres's arc still worked as the most impactful
Hmm. Yeah.
arc from it. Integra got degraded.
Yeah.
Alucard is obviously been degraded.
Yeah.
But okay, what about Walter?
Oh, Walter's arc was sick. The way that they did Walter's arc was actually very, very well done. I forgot that he betrayed them at the end. Basically, I forgot that he attacked Alucard at the end. If that makes sense.
Mhm.
Like I totally forgot that that
Y-
happened. He's the butler guy, right? I'm like totally not thinking
Yes,
of. Yeah.
yes. Walter C. Dorn. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
He's the
Yeah.
butler with the wires.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay. Yeah. Honestly, his powers are good too because he's basically like a normal human, technically, isn't he? So
Yes.
in fact, he could.
Until the end,
Yeah.
obviously.
Yeah. Until the end, because he gets his youth back, he gets more ghoulish, should I say? And then he. Even before that, though, his powers are very like well done. Like he's very overpowered. Like I think the one line that I agree with most is like, "Damn, you're overpowered," and that's coming from me. When Alucard was like speaking about it.
Mhm.
I think that was like the best like one liner I think Alucard did from like all throughout. Like a lot of the jokes are
Calling his
missed.
powers bullshit. Oh,
Yeah,
yes, they did.
I
Those jokes were,
mhm,
so I'm not gonna lie, they're bad and they're hard to listen to. Even listening to Jan Valentine is hard
mhm,
to do.
I mean, like for me, it seems like the jokes worked when they released it, but they're not timeless. If that makes sense. Like, because like the
Yes,
thing is when things age, and the jokes either age with it or they just fall off. And in this case, it's fallen off even within these few short years that it's been out.
yeah.
But yeah.
Let's see. What do you think, about the Major? The fact that he's played by the same guy that voice acted Vegeta and Piccolo and all them from
Mhm.
the Bridge. Um,
I mean, like you even heard little bits of Krillin, like in certain bits. Like it wasn't like
yeah,
all the time, but there's like little bits where you could hear Krillin or you could hear little bits, and no, it was like when I first heard Alucard speak, I was like, I swear that's a Sal's voice actor. And like I
Mhm.
asked you, and I asked you about it on Discord. I was like, is that Sal's voice actor? And I was
I
like,
didn't think it
yeah,
was because when they credit him in the Hellsing thing at the end, they don't call him Takahata 101, they just call him by his name, and I didn't
yeah,
realize that that was the same guy's name,
mhm,
even though the voice obviously does match.
yeah. No, because they even like kind of like merge the two because they do like what is it like I because he's like I drink like I eat people or like I drink people like that was in both
Yeah,
series as well, which is a very cool
mhm.
little like twist between the two. It was like little
Yeah,
throwbacks that you could
did you
see all throughout. Sorry, go on.
did did you miss in the Walter scene where it was in cell abrasion and he stalled on the cell part?
Yeah, I don't like that's what I mean. Little nuances like that where they're throwing it back to Dragon Ball Abridged. It's a very cool little
Mhm.
throwback because obviously I think as you said the voice of Alucard wrote it basically.
Do what now?
The voice of
The voice of Oliver?
Alucard, like wrote
Yes,
Hellsing
yes,
Abridged. Yeah.
he wrote Hellsing. I don't think he wrote, DBZ Abridged. I think
No,
that
but I
was,
mean like
the
Hellsing.
major.
Yeah. No, I think
Yeah,
Hellsing.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was kind of
You can
his little
definitely
project.
tell that there's 2 different writers, though,
Yeah.
I'll say that for a fact. I mean,
I
you there's no way.
mean, no, I think if they would have done multiple writers, if they would have made it into more of a serious service, it would have been a lot better. Let's just look at what Dragon Ball Abridged turned into as an example. So
Now, do you think that the fact that they butchered that's the way we're gonna word it because it is not the same as the original,
no,
unless you disagree with me with using the term "butchered"
no, it
on
is
the
butchered.
Hellsing.
No, it is butchered. It's butchered
But
to fuck. So
since they you think that could be solely because of the lack of material to work with? I know that should make it easier not to butcher it, but
it's
we got
because
10 episodes as
well, to
opposed
be
to.
fair, if you can't make something entertaining about killing Nazis, like you're doing something wrong. If that makes sense.
Well, yeah,
I mean,
I guess that would be a
it's
good
like the
point.
easiest plot armor. Like it's the easiest plot to get right. Like you could easily make the Nazis amazing and like fucked up, and then just still keep it funny, but have a more serious tone to bits. And that's how it goes when it's meant to be an up and down. It's not meant to be like a constant, like a constant jokey. It's meant to have those tones going through it. That's what Dragon Ball has. That's what Team Four Star are basically known for. As in, like
Mhm.
for me anyway. But you know.
But there again, I mean, that show what that particular series was put out to be a Halloween special, like I told you before, and if
Oh yeah.
anybody out there I'm only
Oh
reiterating in
yeah.
case if anybody don't know, but
Mhm. Oh yeah, I mean, it is technically meant to be like a yearly series, but that means they've got a year to write it as well. Like I know
yeah,
they're
yeah,
busy doing other stuff, but then again, Team Four Star don't put out a lot of stuff each year. And trust me, I know what you're gonna say. You're gonna say, but they have to record all the DBZ, but they have to get all the voices recorded. They have to do all the editing. Like yes, like let me give like a good estimate. Say it's gonna take them a month to record, put it all together, to edit it all together, to get it in the right place so it gets around YouTube's copyrights, all the sentences so they can get through. Even though it's not for profit, it could get blocked for whatever reason. They only put out maybe 4 or 5 videos a year, so it's not like they're doing like a daily schedule or anything stupid like that. So they have
yeah,
all the time in the world to kind of get it right.
and that's where I'm going to come at you a little bit here. I wasn't gonna defend their upload schedule with how the quality of the Hellsing Abridged is. I was gonna agree with you that they had a year to make it better than it was each time they made it.
Yep,
I wa
that was basically my thought. I
I
was like,
wasn't gonna.
if you would have said they made this in 12 weeks, I would have been like, they did really good. But because you said they made it one a year, then no, it's like
Mhm.
they had so much
Yeah,
time.
and I had to give you that information so you knew what you were looking at and what
Hmm.
the workload was for it.
Yeah,
Because let's be real, the OVAs that Hellsing Ultimate was from, they're not they're not more than 45 minutes or so long a piece.
yeah. I mean, they did cut them down to about 20, but you have to. I mean, like in terms of like the way YouTube's content thing works, like the way that it
Mhm,
flags and stuff, it does it either by the animation, if it detects things that are copyrighted, or it does it via the actual audio. And like even if you do change the voice of Alucard and all the other characters, it still is that similar tone to it. So the only thing
mhm.
left to do is to cut apart. anime itself. It's why the flow didn't work, because when you have an excess of things, it's very easy to cut things out that aren't really needed. But for something like housing, I would imagine you'd need basically most of it in order for the story to make sense. Which is why it seems like it jumps, if that makes sense. Like a lot of it is very jumpy, the way that it's paced.
Yeah. You see, I know I was asking for your review on it, but you've pretty much given that, I think,
Yeah, I would say so.
at this point. So biggest problem that I've always had with it watching it, I mean, when you look at the major, they did not talk about why the major is the way he is.
No, they didn't. They cut out
They
a
didn't
lot of
go
the
in
backstories. I do agree. Yeah.
they didn't yeah, they definitely didn't explain that he was offered to become a vampire at one point, and he decided that he wanted to remain, in his eyes, human instead of becoming a monster, even though he
Yeah.
did technically still become a monster, just a man-made monster.
But yeah, we still haven't talked about the most cringiest character of all the series, though.
Sodergren?
The Irish sounding Jewish, well, no, Catholic
Oh,
priest.
Alexander Anderson?
Yeah, the most fucking cringy character of the whole show.
Why do you think we haven't talked about Anderson yet? Because that's some good place to go to vent. I
Yep.
mean, let's talk about well, I was trying to give you all the good and all that first, and then we
Okay.
get into the
Okay. Okay.
unwatchable, so let's get to the unwatchable. Take it away. I don't go
I
ahead.
mean, is there any more good to talk about? I don't even know. Is the good even
The
there
only
anymore?
the only other good thing that you can talk about with that whole thing, would be probably the last even though it's with the cringiest character, the last conversation between Alucard and, Anderson.
Yeah.
That was okay because that wasn't far away from what the original was.
No, because like the
They
way that
missed
I've always seen it is like in the original. It has been where because he respected him so much, Alucard respected him because he was human, but still able to fight, still able to put up a decent fight against him. The moment he basically put that what is it, part of Jesus's whatever thing into him.
yeah, it was a crucifixion nail for Christ.
Yeah, the crucifixion now for Christ, like into his body, and basically became something unhuman. It's where Alucard felt sorry for him because he's like, the length he went for to try to get him, and he was like, no, don't do it. Just like it still had that same tone behind it, unlike the abridged as well.
Yeah. I mean, it was wasted a little bit because they didn't elaborate on why or stay long on Alucard crying because
No,
I don't know, that it would have ruined the character of him
yeah,
that they were trying to present,
yeah, they were trying to present a Deadpool rather than Alucard.
and because Alucard's I know you remember it probably yourself, but Alucard's crying at that point was solely because he felt that Anderson was the only human that possibly could have killed him, and then he made it basically forfeited that right when he became a monster.
Totally, I totally agree. Sorry, my microphone did a weird thing. It like
It
on.
did cut out a little bit, but it came back immediately, so,
Yeah, I know. Hold on, let me put a note so that um.
yeah,
Anyways, sorry,
but
say that again, and then we'll keep going.
I don't remember what I said. So let's just go, hope that we continue on. All I was saying was about that how, Alucard's crying was all about him,
Oh yeah, 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 I know exactly
thanking
what you're saying.
Anderson.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
yeah.
thank
Yeah, like I think it was because like I think he felt like he needed that opponent because in his eyes, like Alucard is what would be the embodiment of every vampire novel we've ever had, right? So it would be all the
yes,
Lestats and the Armands and Dracula and like it'd be the embodiment of all of them. He's the
yeah,
literal representation of all of those stories because that's all him. It's all things he's done. It's just been put into different into different medias, into different methods of like speaking about him.
yeah, and then
So
Anderson forfeits that
yeah, and then
ability.
yeah, and then because he forfeits his humanity in order to try to kill him, he takes it too far. Because I guess at
Mhm.
Alucard, we are like children, basically. I would say, we look like children to him, no
Yes,
matter how old or whatever. Man, he's just like he's so he like restricts his power to such a point that
Well, to be
It's
fair, it's not him that restricts his power. That was, Hellsing that restricted his power
oh
with the
yeah, but
Cromwell
oh yeah,
invocation.
yeah, yeah. But I mean, like, but I mean, his power is so restricted, and he's still so broken, and he's just like, it's
Now,
like,
speaking of go ahead,
mhm.
sorry.
So good. You're fine.
Speaking of that, though,
Hmm.
that is the most enraging part of that whole bridge series is when level 0 was activated.
Yeah. Like, why
He
for you?
did not use the proper quote for it that he's supposed to use.
Makes sense. But then again, they wouldn't, would they? I mean, it's a different service. Like, as an example, like, he's not meant to be this super duper whooper powerful. Oh, well, he's meant to be powerful, but he's not meant to be that that akin to needing spells and such, if that makes sense. In the abridged series, anyway.
Yeah, when they dropped off the "I'm the bird of Hermes eating my own wings to keep me tame"
Hmm.
to whatever it is he decided he was gonna say for that line.
I think it was just like level 0 unlock or something to that degree.
Well, I mean, before that,
Yeah, but you know what I
that
mean.
whole little spiel he did.
Yeah,
They tied it in yes, they tied it into what their narrative was about him in a walk,
yeah.
but that was not that didn't need to be altered, I don't think, in that regard. At everything, because that one just didn't need to be changed.
No, you could have kept it exactly the same, but I guess they wanted to change the premise of it all because obviously, like, all of what he did was going out for walks in his eyes in the abridged series. Still,
Yeah.
but still, I think the way that they made Thingamajig Irish, just that voice, man, just the way he was speaking and
Mhm.
everything, man, it just
He he oversold he
yeah,
oversold it.
yeah, every time he was on screen, it was too much. If you know what I mean.
Yep.
It was just like it was overbearing. It was just like it felt like it was trying way too hard, should I say?
I do think that one of the funnier scenes still too would be when, Maxwell was talking to all of the, people leading the different groups that came in.
Hmm.
That was kinda funny in a way.
Oh yeah, it was. I mean, like, there was some cool scenes. I mean, like where they're all on on like around the table, and that guy finally breaks in. You know, one of the ghouls or like vampires. Like, I mean, near the beginning of the series, and they just shoot the fuck
Yeah.
out of him from like because as he enters through. I think that bit's amazing. The stuff that is still really good. It's just it hits in places, but it mostly misses for me anyway.
Oh, it does mostly miss, I can agree with that. At least they kept their narrative throughout the whole thing. I mean, they were dedicated to what it was.
I know,
And like with everything
but their dedication wasn't needed. It was like it wasn't a good plot point to go on. I would say,
no. And
like at least like in DBC Abridged, it's like where we get to where they come out the hyperbolic time chamber, and it's like
mhm,
something 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 Prince of all something 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 Super Saiyan something something. That line where we know they're
yes.
fucking with Vegeta, but it's still like serious about Vegeta in that way. It's like that perfect blend of both.
And that is, in a way, what a lot of those characters in that would be around there would be hearing. They wouldn't hear everything Vegeta's saying because he says that shit so goddamn much that
Hmm.
you tune it out.
Oh yeah, I mean
That
that's
that was the point. That's the subtle
yeah,
point.
yeah. I mean, what I imagine in that scene is that is what Goku hears whenever he hears Vegeta speak.
Yes.
Yeah, like you just have that Goku mindset where like it's just you could just hear like because he says it basically. I don't know how many times throughout the series, but I would imagine at least 20, 30 times, maybe more than that. I don't. It's a lot of times.
Yeah. But he should say it a lot because for a long time, even in the canon Vegeta's mind, he used that in his own head a lot.
Yeah,
He didn't say it out loud very much,
no. But in his,
but
but like for him, like he felt like even though there was only two full-blooded Saiyans left. Not, I guess if we include his brother, but I guess that's more super in it. I don't know. Maybe.
it's hard to say if Tarble counts.
Yeah, I don't know. But
But yeah, only 2 Saiyans left. Yeah, that's where we're at.
yeah. So if we don't count the half, if we don't count like Gohan and Trunks, Goten, etc., etc.,
Yeah.
and it's just them. So for him, like he has the weight of his people on his back because they're all dead, and because he doesn't want to bring them back, it's not like because he easily could. If he wanted his father back and he wanted them all back, he could, but. I think in a way, not having them there gave him that extra sense of pride to make him train harder, to make him go the extra mile, at least until Goku died at the end of the Cell Saga, and then it went that way.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm getting
Now
sidetracked.
hearing Vegeta yeah, oh, yeah, you about got me off on that sidetrack too,
Hmm.
just because, I mean, the Hells I mean, just talking about Hellsing Abridged, it's not there ain't a whole lot of meat there to talk about, but,
No, but there is probably still
I
more you can
did
chat about. Like, what stuff did you hate the
oh, there
most?
is, I got other points to ask you about, and
Okay,
that's
that's
how
fine.
many times did you roll your eyes when they played a Rob Zombie track for Sarah?
But basically every time, basically any like all the music in that thing, I rolled my eyes at. I mean, you know what kind of music I listen to, right? And it's just like
Oh, I know.
every single fucking track was just like, this doesn't fit, that
Mhm.
doesn't fit, this doesn't fit. That's weird. I don't know why. When he's coming back on the ship, when he's been away for a while, he's got that music playing as he comes back. It's just it doesn't fit
Yeah,
Alucard. Even but no,
and the way they
but
put it
even the like even in the abridged version, it doesn't fit Alucard. If that makes sense. So we go.
right. And what's worse about it is, it's not like they were saying they put the music there. If you watch it with the subtitles on,
Hmm.
it's saying music playing from loudspeaker. So in other words, they're saying Alucard is playing that music as he's coming in.
Yeah, I know because characters reference it. They say, "Oh, like Alucard's playing this." You know, they can hear what's playing. It's not like a background music. It's what Alucard is
Mhm.
listening to. If that makes sense, which doesn't fit his character whatsoever. If anything, like I wouldn't even say he would be like. I would assume Alucard would listen to more classical because he's ancient. You know, he would have
Or
more
jazz at the best.
or jazz at the best. Like I wouldn't say he'd listen to like modern music or to rock or to metal. I would say he'd be very classically enthused
Mhm.
because he's probably seen all this people. He's probably met like all the great composers and everything. So in his time frame.
Yeah. Now, a few things that I will get your opinion on here when it comes back to some of the better scenes. I did like the scene where, Alucard is coaching Cerus to, uh, bite Pip for the take blood for the first time
Hmm.
in this. I liked that because it felt almost like a motivational role, and they have good motivational speeches when they do their parodies,
Yeah,
usually.
yeah, they usually
So
do.
that one was okay to me. And, what was the other one that was pretty okay to me? It's hard to think of things that are okay in that because there ain't a lot.
That's not a lot. That's funny.
There is not a lot of things that are okay in this series.
No, I mean a lot of it is just train wreck after train wreck. It's like even at the very start. Because I could like I was hoping after episode one it would get better, if that makes sense. You know, it would have a slow but surely
Well,
way upwards, but it didn't really do that. Just stayed the same. Like I said to you like earlier, like I fell asleep
mhm.
through some of the episodes, like just because they were just like so. I don't know if,
Well,
like I said,
good.
there was no tension, there was no drama. There, it was just parody, and I know it's meant to be that way, but it was like it lost what made Helsing Helsing, in my opinion.
So, you're of the group kinda like what I am with it, to where out of all the things they coulda made a parody of, they probably should have avoided Hellsing.
I mean, you can make a parody of Helsing, but you need to make a
You
good
can, but
parody of Le Helsing. Yeah, I know it.
you can yes, sure, you can make a parody of Hellsing, but it is very clear that they cannot
Right.
make a one that's rewatchable.
But to be fair, though, I think when they started, they were such massive fans of Dragon Ball, they knew it inside and out. Can they say
Mhm.
the same thing about Helsing or about any other
Oh,
anime that they may do in the
I'm
future?
gonna think that Hellsing for them was no more than just something to put on on the channel for Halloween just to have something as a special.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what it looks like to me. It looks like the more critical side of me is saying it's an Aspel, basically.
It is.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not gonna argue with you on that, and you probably thought you were gonna come into this thing and you was gonna have me against you.
Yeah, that's literally what I thought. I thought you might enjoy it or find this thing in like entertaining, or because obviously I know you like Dragon Ball Z, but just like I do. So So I was like,
Yes, and that's why I was so disappointed with what I had seen on that, and I wanted to get another perspective on it to see if, I was right in my opinion, or at least in had more people agree with me than not.
yeah, I know what you mean.
'Cause I've had a few people that I've tried to show it to, and the language and I mean, I know we're bad, you know what I'm saying? We're bad about saying whatever the fuck we wanna say whenever the fuck we wanna say it.
Yep.
But when you start throwing swearing and cursing into the script for the sake of it being there,
Yeah, I know what you mean.
it's a completely different thing. It doesn't add anything,
No,
and it's nothing that
no, I think like the best way to use swearing is like to accentuate passion. I think that's what I try to do when I try to speak about things. Like I usually don't swear that I do swear a lot, but I don't swear in the terms of like I swear to swear. I swear in a way of like adding something to what I'm saying, adding some kind of infliction
yeah.
or inflection onto what I'm saying, rather than as like a fuck this and fuck that and what the fuck is this, and it's like it doesn't need to be there even in everyday speech. So the fact this is a written script and has been like written that way and plotted over a year this way and had real voice actors literally speak these lines, and I don't see how it made it
Mhm.
past that screening process.
Yeah, and there's a lot of characters that should have never, had I mean, Anderson shouldn't swear at all.
No, he's a priest.
If you
Yeah.
Walter, it'd be a little bit hard to imagine him doing it either.
I mean, once he turns into a vampire, sure. Why not?
I mean, just but he did it well before he was that.
Hmm. Yeah, he did.
And
You're right.
Integra? No.
Maybe not. I don't know.
Not
Were they
not
right?
when she's
Were
trying to
they like right about her age? By the way, is she only 22 in that series, or am I like?
I do not know the exact answer to that question. As we're continuing on, I will look that in and
Hmm.
find that out. But I don't Sarah's maybe she could have been one for the script to allow
Yeah.
her to swear because she had a fucked up bringing up.
Oh yeah, just looking at the little flashback we got in the Abridged series. Like I said, it's been many years since I've seen the original. So
Okay, yeah, Integra was, in fact, during the primary run of Hellsing, 22 years old.
okay, okay. At least I got that bit right. Because I mean, her
Yes.
character model doesn't look like that to me. Character model looks a bit older than that. So that's just the style of the series. I think. I think they didn't want to make her the typical over-imagined anime girl, if that makes sense. They wanted to make her different, make her stand out in a different, completely different.
Yeah. Um, I don't I just don't know, man. I mean, they dropped that uh, I feel they should have been able to do better
Yeah, me too.
with something they probably could have done a good Batman parody for the animated series of Batman
Oh
because they
man,
have a
they
lot of
could.
work,
Oh
a
yeah,
lo
for sure.
a lot
I
of stuff
mean,
that they can work with.
because I mean, they even have that like the thingy that metal parody of the Batman. Where it's like they're like playing music or like bat metal. That's the one that we've got things
Mhm.
like bat
Yeah.
metal, so you could easily do a parody version of Batman. It'd be really easy. You just throw loads of random jokes about like putting little kids in danger and stuff like that, and you make the Joker more insane than he already is. And it's gonna be a good show no matter what the fuck you do. You go as crazy or as sane as you want with it. Batman's kind of an open script in that way.
Yeah, and that is the point there. Hellsing's not really open. It's a very, very self-contained story.
It is a very good story. It is one of the best anime
Yes.
vampires ever told, I would say, in my opinion. Just
Yes.
from that
Because even
initial like watching of it. So good.
because even the Castlevania animated series isn't quite as good as the Hellsing one.
No, like the Castlevania, the first season, like the first couple of episodes got me hooked, and then it kind of dropped off for me, like the Castlevania anime.
Mhm.
Like it kind of got a bit more convoluted. Not convoluted, I don't know. Like I got bored, basically, should I say.
Yeah, and I guess, I'm gonna move us on to asking for your final rating on Hellsing Abridged so we can quit talking about Hellsing Abridged and move on to something a little bit more entertaining, whatever that may be,
I don't know. I don't do ratings. I
because
don't know if you've noticed this, but I never rate anything.
Well, we're gonna rate it this way. You wanna tell people if they want if they should watch it if they wanna go to sleep or if they should just stay away from it
Oh, okay.
entirely based on your
Oh,
opinion?
oh, I've got you. Like, you want like a simple like way to describe it, like as to whether you should watch it.
I want
Okay, yeah, yeah.
your
My honest opinion.
yeah.
Okay, so you shouldn't. The only reason why you should watch Hellsing Abridged is if one, you're close to committing suicide and you need something to either calm you down or bore you to sleep to make you forget about your troubles. Because it's going to be very good at that. Because it's going to be so dreary, like it's going to make you either sleep, forget about what you're doing, or another reason to watch it is if you're brain dead. You know, if you're quite literally like you have literal brain death, you know, you lost oxygen for X amount of time, and you cannot physically move or do anything else, or where you have the mind of like a popsicle, should we say? Those are the only two options I could think of where this series would actually be worth watching in terms of like the dragon, no, in terms of the Hellsing Abridged. And besides that, it's definitely not worth watching in my opinion. It's one of the worst versions of an abridged I've seen in a while. And I've seen a couple of the of other abridged series. They like different people do things differently, but a lot of them try to keep a lot of that source material, a lot of that heaviness into it, and it doesn't like, and they try not to lose that track of what the show is meant to be about. And the fact that they did that in the first 10 minutes of the first episode, it just shows you everything that you need to watch. Go watch, I think they've got 1, 2, and 3 bundled together on Team 4 Star. Like, go, you'll probably be asleep by the time you get to episode 2, I would say. At least I was. But, you know, that's just me. But yeah, not worth watching. Not in the slightest. Never in like a billion years should you watch this shit. There's much, much, much better shit to watch, man. Just go watch Jujutsu Kaisen or Demon Slayer or Bleach, or because they got the Thousand Year Blood War, or watch the original Naruto or anything else than this, man. So yeah, that's my thought.
You almost killed me with that opening to that.
I figured I would.
I was trying to drink a cup of coffee while you were talking and give you the floor and not say a word, and I almost died.
Yeah, I bet. Together. That was the intention to try to make you break.
You
Yeah,
didn't do it.
I almost got that. Oh, I was almost there. So
That's
what?
the after effects of almost breathing coffee in. Give me a
Yeah,
second.
you're fine.
Okay, I'm alive now. Uh, but yeah, that would be a pretty good assessment of what someone should do.
Mhm.
Now, I will add, if you want to torture somebody,
Yeah, but
you
that
know
was.
that old scene that you see in a lot of movies where they put you and tie you to a chair and they tape your eyes open?
Oh, you mean the clockwork?
There you go.
You mean the clockwork orange theory? Yeah, yeah, yeah. Know what I mean.
That's a this is a good media source for that.
Yes. I mean, that was the whole point with the brain death, man, because, like, even if you're not quite brain dead, that will literally make you brain dead. So, either way.
Yeah. So, now we can get off this crap ass of a bridge series that we were just trying to discuss.
I mean, at least we got, like, almost 40 minutes out of it, man. We did more than I thought we was going to do.
Well, I mean, we had to stretch for it, though. I mean,
Oh,
you
yeah, I
can't
mean, we,
deny
we,
that.
we did stretch it quite a bit, but it's a podcast. That's what podcasts are for.
Well, yeah, and, for the future, it's probably gonna be he's gonna be very timid about accepting any viewing challenges from me just because he doesn't know exactly what I'm gonna be looking for or what I'm gonna try to torture him with.
No, it'll be fine, because even if you like it, you know, even if you love something and I hate it, it just means we'll have more to talk about.
Yes, but am I trying to hurt you is the question.
Nah, I don't think so. I think if you're trying to hurt me, there's much worse things you could have, like, given me to watch.
Oh, there's well, yeah, I could've, but,
I know that could be for future when
could
we're
make
like when we're like
could
20 episodes in and running out of ideas and trying to find shit that works.
yeah, episode 500, Makai reviews the Teletubbies, the whole fucking show, the whole thing, every
I'd
bit of
rather
it.
I would literally rather watch the Teletubbies than Hellsing Abridged, man. I'm not gonna lie. So
Can we even find that anymore?
yeah,
I
it's
thought
on.
that show got, like, removed and canceled and taken
Mm,
off everything.
nah, man, it's on the BBC probably. That's where it was originally. There's everything on the
Oh, y'all
BBC,
not
man.
okay, well, y'all can watch whatever you want. I don't think it exists over here anymore. I could be wrong.
Oh, really? I'm
I
totally gonna
know it
search.
had some shit go on with it before.
Oh yeah, I'm totally gonna search now. Teletubbies. Actually, yeah, it's on.
Now, there's
You,
gonna
Yeah, it's on iPlayer right now. I could literally watch it literally anytime I wanted. Not that I'm going to.
Now, this could be a very, very fucked up form of long-term storytelling because if we do get to 500, or when we get to 500, if we have anybody out there that saw this one and lasts that long and says, "Where's my goddamn Teletubbies episode at?"
I know we're gonna have to do it. That's literally what we're gonna have to do. But instead of Makai watches Teletubbies, it's gonna be Kai watches Teletubbies because it has to be the opposite of that specific one.
W Wait a minute, oh, fuck, I'm on the odd.
Yep. Yep.
I'll just delete that comment off of Spotify if it comes on there and never
Go for
notice
it. They
it.
can just watch it on the YouTube version. It's totally fine.
No, I'm just saying if there's a comment on the Spotify side that says we got to do Teletubbies at
Oh yeah, but
500,
what if
I'll
it's
just delete.
like multiple people commenting? You can't delete multiple comments.
I can't delete yours anyway.
I know. It's okay.
I can just feign, blindness
Oh
and
yeah, 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 you're right. You're right. You're right.
because I know you're just gonna copy and paste them over to me and show them to me. I'm not gonna.
That's what I generally do. I generally just copy
We'll
and paste it.
negotiate.
We'll
We'll
negotiate.
negotiate later.
The negotiation's not going to go well, I would imagine.
Probably not.
But yeah, what other topics did you have in mind for today after the housing bullshit should call it?
After the Hellsing bullshit, I figured we'd go to something a little bit more enjoyable. I brought up Hellsing, so are you brain dead enough to where you ain't got something you'd want to deflect away from that for?
Not particularly, actually. I'm
You don't
pretty
have
I'm pretty
you have
brain dead
nothing.
after I just did like a
You have
4 hour stream.
nothing.
Nope, got nothing
What
in
the
my head.
fuck?
This is your show?
What
What are
the
you on
fuck?
about? This is your whole thing? This is
It is
your
my
full
it is
episode?
mine. It is mine. You're right.
hmm That means you have topics and I don't have to think. I can just chat shit and just enjoy myself.
See, now we're just trying to be comical,
hmm
and it's not working.
Nope.
It
Does
is
it
not
does
working.
it does it ever work with us, honestly? See, mine's
Yes.
you see what I try to do? I try to make people cringe. That's like a whole different kind of thing.
Well, cringe is fine.
Mhm.
You know a lot about cringe.
Oh yeah, I do. So does my fucking audience, according to my Twitch.
I add a lot to that audience of cringe. Well,
hmm
not a lot, but everything I put up there is a
I
challenge to your
mean,
sanity.
when
Have you noticed that everything I offer you in any way is a challenge to your sanity?
I mean, kinda. I mean, it does kind of whenever you request music, it's
Because you don't skip it.
no, I don't because it's metal or it's something that is unskippable on my channel, basically.
I'm fairly certain that the last song I gave you wasn't it was probably more in the EDM section than it
No,
was in the metal.
it was more metal than EDM, I would say. It has a lot more metal than EDM in it, just from listening to it anyway.
So what you're trying to tell me is I'm able to sneak past the rules pretty good is what you're trying to get
That's
to me
basically
with.
what every person does on my stream. Don't give me this That's what every single person does. They'll give me something that they know I'm gonna hate, but it's metal enough for it to not be skipped. That's literally the goal of at least I think almost every single person apart from no, actually no, every single person has tried them. Literally gone like metal, but the bad kind of metal that I hate. So
All right. Well, um, I will say that I have decided I'm not changing that music to that though. I can tell you that because there was one guy, like I said, one guy in your stream that said the song sounded fucking cool.
you should use you should use Nihilist, man. Nihilist has some crazy fucking tracks, man.
Okay, well, I'll have to look into that.
They are deathcore technically,
Because
but they're weirdly deathcore. They have they have tracks that are purely deathcore, then they have tracks that are
Mhm.
just weird, man. That just don't sound like anything, and then they sound alien like. It's really strange.
I really need some stuff that's still along the creepy vibe. That's
No,
what I really need.
but Cyclone 9 wasn't creepy either, I would say.
No, it wasn't. They I'm not surprised that dude said it felt like he was walking down a corridor in Doom when the song started.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would probably do something more visual esque if I was going to try to go for creepy. There's a lot of carnival themed visual kei bands which sound creepy as fucking places. So.
I've it's not a group. It might not be one that you had brought to you. But I also thought about using some Raven Black stuff, but
Definitely could
because
do.
they have some. but to you, they'll probably be a fairly cringed group because they're kind of gimmicky,
Yeah. I mean, I don't mind
and
gimmicks in groups, but if the whole of the visual case space is gimmick, like central to be
yeah.
honest. But yeah,
Well, what I mean by them being gimmicky, instead of doing what King Diamond does or what the only album Kim Dracula's put out, but what King Diamond or him does, they tell a story from first track to the ending track where nothing in the middle makes sense without the other 2.
yeah. So
Their whole
like the basic story of an album. Yeah, got you.
um, and that's why King Diamond might be hard for you to listen to, is because it's supposed to be listened to as a full album. It's not supposed to be listened to as a single song.
I was pretty sure it was his voice, man, and the whole band in general. But still,
Well, I mean, if it is that, then that's fine in
yeah,
general. I'm just saying that it doesn't help that the context of the stuff is not self-contained
I know,
on
but
what he does to
I know,
where
but like
he could
I think even if it was in a style that I think if it was in a style that I liked, I might be able to listen to it. But it's literally just the sound of it, just not really my cup of tea, should I say? That's a really weird English
Yeah.
phrase that I don't like, but either way,
Yeah, and Raven Black's stuff is more of a soundtrack, if you will,
yeah,
to a comic book that they have about their characters in the band, so that's where their gimmickry comes in.
makes
It's where they're
sense.
playing their characters that they put into a comic book,
Hmm.
and they are the songs are the soundtracks to the comic, so
Makes
they
sense.
are self-contained songs, but without all the context that you have to go into it, it's a little rough sometimes.
Is it like video comic book wise, or is it like or is it lyrically comic book wise? Like I don't get the comic book wise. Like what do you mean?
They have printed comic books
Oh,
that
okay.
they have, issued out, or at least they did for the first 3 albums that they did, that they, her character is, going through some horror type genre stuff, and the songs are soundtracks to what's going on throughout each issue of the comic. It's
Can
an
I
okay concept when you think
can I c-
in
can I just
thought.
say like right now that's the most cringily, most stupidest concept I've ever heard in my life. But sure. Either way, each to their.
Mhm.
Anyways, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying, if it was able to be done in a good way, it's an okay concept to have something you want to go with something, but I don't know if a comic book I'm not saying the comic book's any good because I haven't seen it, I just know it exists,
Yeah, I mean
and I know what it's for,
like
but I
like even if the comic book was to level up Berserk, where it's like one of the best manga ever written, or whichever way you want to go about it. I still think it would be so weird to have like because the music wouldn't need to be there because like
no, it that's
because like
they
as an
don't.
example when I'm reading something I have my own music in my head I listen to anyway. So like if I'm reading
Yeah,
something, my own music goes to it. So is there a need to have your
mhm,
music there when I can when my own music is already playing in my own head anyway?
mhm, and at least I could say the only saving grace to that idea that they've got, if there was any to give them at all,
Hmm?
the only saving grace is their songs are not describing what's going on the comic panel.
Yeah, but that's kind of what you need. It's meant to be a story. That's what songs are meant to be. Songs are meant to be that in between. Like, so you have movies and you have books. I mean, it's meant to be that in between. Where you have music
Yeah,
and you have lyrics and you have lyricism and you can make stories out of that. I think like when
yeah.
things loses its lyricism, it's where it kind of like is where I fall off.
I might throw you one of theirs next time just to see what how bad you really think it is.
Oh,
Just to
you're gonna love it when I do it.
just because, I mean, they you see, that's the problem with me and requesting my stuff with yours is the stuff I know that is good, I won't request,
Yeah,
and there's a reason for
but
that
what's your
because the stuff
definition of
I
good? That's the thing.
well, my definition of good comes in when we're talking about stuff like the Dimmu Borgir stuff,
Hmm.
and that the songs I like from them that I think good, that doesn't mean you will like think those are good, but we've already agreed that there's a handful of songs from them that we both think are alright.
I know, but I mean, for me, as an example, so like Dimmu Borgir, they're an entry level black metal band, right? So
Yes.
for me, they are like in the middle, like at best. Me, should I say,
Mhm.
compared to like
But and
the top tier shit. But yeah, so okay.
yeah, and that's what it is. I've never claimed that I was heavily educated in the metal thing. That is actually what I learned from your people and what you got going. I learned more about that
Oh yeah, I
world
bet.
from that.
Mhm. I mean,
Um,
like my chat is very on my stream, like especially on music streams. They're very knowledgeable in what they
mhm,
do, man. Like there's like, as you know, there's people who give me like visual creative stuff, people give me deathcore stuff, random as fuck stuff, even
mhm.
stuff that's like not even metal but sounds amazing anyway. Just a whole
Yeah, I mean,
wide range of shit.
what was that one dude's name? I can't remember it. Not the one that requested it, but the one that played that song that was real close to you. You remember what I'm talking
Oh
about?
yeah, I know exactly who you mean. Um,
That
as
dude is amazing what he does.
yeah, I mean the thing's name. It's Cervix, Cervyx, something.
Okay.
Dude is amazing. Dude's voice is like crazy, man.
Yes, that's see, and I appreciate all that stuff,
Hmm.
that I get shown from there because I do learn a lot from that. It's
Yeah,
just as much as you're more of the educated metal guy, I am the entry level guy. You know
yeah,
what I'm saying?
I know what you mean.
I've never had a direction like, the only song I knew that of everything that had been I knew the Delane one, I knew about that. If I
Yeah,
pronounced their name right, I may have not.
you did. You fine.
I knew that because I've listened to them off
Yeah.
and on. The one that Hunted suggested, I've heard that one come,
Which
several times.
which one did Hunters
Uh,
suggest?
it was that one on that Toddbringer thing that he had you do.
Okay. I do so many tracks that my mind like only
I know,
remembers the good ones. So
yeah. I've listened to that one a time or
Mhm.
2 because it come up from when I've had a list in on Spotify and it starts playing me related shit. That's usually how before I met you, how I would learn about additional bands would tell point me in related to this. But
Makes sense.
usually the related to this isn't related to this plus 1 or plus 5 or
No.
whatever. It's usually literally the same genre
Hmm.
and the same level of that genre normally.
Yeah, you're right. I mean, like Spotify's like recommendations are very good for finding stuff that sounds similar. But as for like
Yeah.
advancing knowledge in metal, it's difficult. Like for me, the only way that I've managed to figure out a way to do it like reliably is just to start a reaction channel. That was the best way that I
Yeah.
found ever to find music. Because obviously, once you get people who watch you or give a shit about what you do, then kind of have a gateway into other people's mindsets and what they listen to, and but then you also have to find those people who can accept bad opinions and can understand that we are all different and we all do listen and hear things differently. Because a lot of people can't do that. A lot of people, as an example, I will touch Nightwish or Epica or whichever band you want to go through that's more mainstream, should we say. And if I say anything negative, it'll be like a massive like thing on the channel. Like I think the latest Nightwish has about 3/4 dislikes to the likes on it. If that makes sense. So just because the fans are just like, even though the song is bad, like even acknowledged by some of the fan base, it's bad. Like a lot of the fans are still so up their own asses in that sense, where they are quite literally
Mhm.
defending shit at this point, which makes no sense to me. But
And I'm not saying you would say that these were good songs or good that I would give you, you know what I'm saying? I'm just giving you an example
yeah,
of my opinion on this.
I
But
know what you
that's
mean.
why I don't recommend or request Demi Borgir. I don't request Cradle of Filth. I don't request King Diamond
I mean, you could.
because there are people that will defend those people against a negative review because especially King Diamond because he's a bigger name.
Yeah,
Cradle's a bigger name, and so Dimmu Borgir is kind of a bigger name, but there's still a lot of people that have never heard of him, or them rather,
yeah, that.
that have heard of Cradle
Mhm. That's true.
or King Diamond for that matter, because King Diamond's been going since the late '70s, early '80s.
Mhm. It makes sense in the way that they sound, to be honest. They got to have that sound of that, not of specifically that era, but that's somewhere between now and then.
Mhm. But and that's why I don't like to talk about that stuff really. I mean, I could throw some more metal tracks from Alice Cooper that I don't know if you've heard before,
Possibly,
but
but
everybody knows who the
that's
fuck
going
Alex
like yeah,
Cooper is.
but that's going more into like old school shit, if that makes sense. A lot of that is very
Mhm.
old school
And it's
sounding.
not and again, that's another good point. it's not new.
No, like a lot of
So
what I
it's
do is new, or at least not if not new, it's new to me. Makes sense.
yes, and that's like with the some of the stuff you get requested, not all of it, but you do know some of it's not what one would classify as new
Yeah,
either.
no,
But it's deliberately not new when it's like Alice Cooper or
hmm
King Diamond
yeah.
or Dimmu Borgir.
It's almost like going back to safe bands that you know will be okay, or will know will
And there's no point in doing that.
no. Like I think the best thing like that I've seen is like when people say, "Is it okay to request this or okay to request that?" Like Skull, who's like one of the mods in my Twitch channel, he would say, "Just post anything, just don't give a singular fuck, man. Just post whatever you want to, because like you might throw in some bad things, and that's totally fine. Eventually, you might find something that's amazing. Like you might throw
I
something
mean,
in, and I fucking love it because I think
now
I think loads of people have done that. Anyway, so okay.
to be fair, my industrial stuff is probably never going to click with you.
I mean, some of it does. I listen to things like God Module, which is basically like more like electronic industrial. That makes sense.
Because it was even, I mean, granted, even the Cyclone 9, even with them, they're old, but
Yeah,
no one on that stream really seemed to know who they were except maybe the mod.
yeah. I mean, Skull would know more than basically most people he listens to. Oh shit. He's very much into like he only watches reaction videos on YouTube. He's only like that's literally what he does, right? He literally like loves reaction things. Basically, how helped me build the channel, as I think I've talked about before. I don't know, but
Yeah, yeah,
basically,
you have mentioned
yeah.
that to me
But
before.
basically, it was me and him when I was at 100 subs, 200 subs, whatever the fuck it was, man. Like back before any of this happened,
Mhm.
and we were just chilling in Discord when Discord still allowed you to listen to YouTube and stuff. We've just like you had a bot that could play like before they
Yeah.
had that whole wave where it fucked it all over. We would just have a
Mm.
blast, like listen to music, find things that were amazing to react to. Like if I'd listen to something and it'd be like I'd listen to like 20 seconds and it would sound amazing. I'm like, okay, I'm gonna react to this, then I'm gonna react to that. And we'd find like thousands of bands. Like I showed him like a lot of the J-pop and some of the more Japanesey non-metal side and stuff like that. But me and him
Yeah.
basically we just kept coming up with ideas to kind of build the channel, and that's kind of so like he'd know basically as much about that type, like about most kinds of music. That's what he does. Like he listens to everything. So
And I like to stay, like what you've said you're aiming to do. I like to stay away from even the people that are new now that are already built their name. I mean, even if they're okay, they're new, but
mhm.
they've already got I don't know. I looked on your React channel and I didn't see anything for this band, so maybe no one's brought them your way yet, but I'm sure someone may have. Anybody ever brought Avatar to you
Nope,
that
not
you
from
can
the top of my head.
remember?
Not from the top of my head. I can search it. No, because I've got my videos file, my video folder.
I mean, I searched it on your thing. I know you didn't have anything uploaded for
Yeah,
them.
no, I've done a Stellaris Avatar, but that's the only one that I've done. That's Stellaris. That isn't a band called Avatar.
Yeah. So I might throw that one in because they're new, but they already have a name for themselves. So
That's okay though. Just means that gets me some extra views, I guess, if they are already popular. That's the only thing that changes really. And if I talk shit about
mhm.
them, it just means I get some extra hate. But what's new at this
Oh
point?
yeah, because Giannis is fairly worshipped by a lot of people apparently.
Oh, is that the
He's
beat?
very
Is that the Beast and Bat singer, or am I going crazy here?
I don't think he's ever been with anything else. It's Giannis Ekstrom.
Oh no, it's different. I was thinking of Giannis Papa. He's Greek anyway, but different
They're
person.
from yeah. Um, he's incredibly vocally talented in terms of ranges, but that doesn't mean that obviously that doesn't mean you'll like it because there's a lot of different ranges with a lot of people that I mean
Mhm.
that doesn't mean you'll like them just because of that.
I know. I just like things that sound good. I don't know
Oh, I know.
like people just like make it so complicated about like that I'm picky or whatever words they want to
No,
use to describe it. I'm like no, it's like shit that sounds good, and I don't mean like
mhm,
okay. I mean like actually like amazing or good or mind blowing or that's the kind of shit that I
yeah.
want to find.
And I only mentioned it that way is because that's his main strength as a singer is his ability to change range.
Yeah.
So he does do a lot of ups and downs and growls and high stuff. I mean, so he goes all over the place with what he does,
Hmm.
and that can be a little bit distracting or unnecessary. I guess to say at times because of what not everything calls for all that. Granted, he don't do it all the time in every song.
No, but I mean, like, if he's got like a lot of range to him, he could be amazing for all I know. Like, there was that one
I
band
might
at the end of my
forego.
stream on Thursday. That was
Hmm.
it's not even it's like more like pop rock and it's amazing. It's like Hot Milk is what the band is called. And I did the song called Breathing Underwater and it's amazing. It's so different. They're from the UK and they're just like they basically like almost write their songs like rap songs, but they just sing it in like a metalcore kind of style. But still having that kind of you can tell they're not really metalheads, they're more like in between electronic and rock and that kind of a way. Just randomly, like Spitz put them into the chat, and they're amazing. So like anything can hit with me. It's just it.
Yeah. So I might try to, if no one else does, I might try to introduce you to that group since you haven't, as you can recall, had any exposure to them. That might be a good one then, because
So, sounds good.
they're because, and if nothing else, I mean, even though I didn't get the reaction I wanted out of the one I gave you last time,
What
someone
what
did
reaction did
like
you
it.
want last time?
So it,
Like what reaction did you want last time? I don't know what was you
not from
expecting?
you,
Oh, from the
not from you,
chat. Oh, from the chat. Okay, I got
not from you. I knew what you were going to do.
you. What, make fun of it? Yep, that's what I did.
Yeah. Yeah. I knew that was going to happen. Uh, but I wanted to see how it hit with everybody else.
Yeah,
And if everybody hated it, then I would have went with it because it would have done what I needed for it to do on against a test audience. Yes, I used your people. Do
and
something about it.
do something about it. What do you want me to do? Come through the
I
screen?
don't know. I don't know.
I would say I'll wrestle you, but I won't. That's gonna go badly for me. I'll arm wrestle you. There we go. That sounds like a fair fight to me.
You probably win that. I'm not very strong.
I know. I like weight training, all that shit, man. So, oh, to be fair,
I'm already lighter than you, so it probably wouldn't go very well for me.
no, it's true. That's okay.
That does play a lot into that. But yeah, so I didn't get the reaction I wanted. I wanted everybody to hate it, and there was one guy that liked it, which good for him. I mean that might give him something else to listen to if he wants to go and pursue them and listen to them.
Yeah, it's okay.
But which is I hope part of what you do is that people hear stuff they didn't hear before. They might like it. It might expand their own music library as
Yeah,
well.
yeah, that's the point. It's not just me. Like, obviously, like a large part of it is because like I want to find crazy shit. But like, say if I react to something and I fucking hate it, but somebody else loves it, that's all for the better of them, isn't it? So,
Mhm.
and that's the whole point, man. It's like a community. Like it's not just about me or like how a lot of like YouTubers or reactors are like, it's all about me. You need to pay me to react. You need to do this. You need to do that. I'm like, no, it's a community. We're building this shit together. We're gonna build this as like one big coherent fucking unit. That's kind of how I
And
say it.
that's not and that's hard to do
Hmm. Definitely,
because you'll deliberately run away the people that want to say do it my way.
exactly. Like if
And
like if they'll put something in that's bad and they can't accept that, then they don't need to be on my channel. Basically,
yeah, I mean, I don't
like
know. I mean, like I said, I may have misread the room when I was in there
I don't think so. I think
for
you were
what
spot on.
time I was.
I think like most people hated it, and then not really hated it. It was like it was listenable to them, but it wasn't amazing. If that makes sense. I think
No,
it was.
not that. I was talking about the guy that got mad at you for that one that you said
Oh, that
that
do say. I only misread what
that
you meant.
I may have misread the room with that,
No,
but
you
when
didn't.
you
No,
said
you
the
didn't.
clean vocals killed it,
Mm-hmm. No, you didn't.
as
You did.
soon as you said that,
Mm-hmm. They went silent. Yeah, I know.
they yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, God, but they
I
did.
I wasn't wrong there, was I?
No, I mean, and here's the thing. I For what it's worth, I know what sounds good and I know what sounds bad myself,
Yeah.
but I listen to a lot of bad shit.
Why? Seriously.
Why?
Hmm.
Because I don't have a reason.
But you need to have a reason. There's reasons for everything. There's reasons why people kill people, man. So there has to be some kind of reason. Because you wouldn't
I
like
don't have
purposefully like listen to bad shit just because it's there. If that makes sense.
a lot of it's because I use background noise, and it don't matter what the background noise sounds like half the time to me because it's background noise, and half the time I don't listen to it. Like when I'm at work working,
Mm-hmm.
I need to listen to something I can half-ass ignore
I know we can do
while I'm
that.
trying to
Well, you
do
can
what I'm
do that
doing.
with like any kind of music. It's just background noise.
You can, but when I listen to something that's supposed to be good and I think's good, I want to enjoy it.
Oh yeah, I know what you mean. I mean, like for me, the only reason that I have in background noise is sometimes if I'm purposely going on a long ass cycle, I'll put in headphones at like at like number 1 setting, so I can basically like it's almost like a whisper in my ears. So like it's almost like
Mhm,
background noise, and so I can still hear traffic around me. But I'll just put like music into my ears, and that's just like I just learn lyrics that way. I just like I'll just put stuff on repeat and hear stuff, and I'll learn the lyrics and stuff, and that kind of way.
mhm.
Yeah,
And a lot of, like, I guess what I'm referring to about a lot of bad shit, I can elaborate on that a little bit.
very fair.
And I am translating my music to Makai speak for the audience.
Oh no.
I listen to a lot of bad shit. Like, I will listen and can enjoy to some degree, not all the time, but I can enjoy some new metal stuff. Not saying you can't
Um,
either, but
and my new
or
metal can
maybe
suck
no, you already
dicks.
said you can't. You
Yeah,
already said you don't like new
new
metal.
like I said, new metal can suck dicks. That's fine.
But
Yeah,
the only reason I can stand it is it depends on who it is doing it.
I mean there are some
I
amazing
can't
talent.
just
There's like some amazing talented vocalists in new metal. I'm not going to deny that. There's I can't remember Tala. Tala's vocalist is amazing. But besides that, there isn't many.
yeah, I mean, I can listen to some of that, but I don't listen to it all the time. There's only about 2 or 3 bands in new metal that I listen to, and they're not the ones everybody would think that I do.
Makes sense.
Like, it's not Korn, it's not,
Is
stuff like that.
it Linkin Park?
No,
Is Limp Bizkit?
no,
So I
can't
don't
stand
even
Limp
know.
Bizkit, actually.
I know me either, but stuff. I don't know. I ain't gonna guess it. So.
No. Now, one group I will continue to go back to that I still don't well, it's because it's not metal, obviously.
hmm
But one thing I forgot to mention way back when was I am a diehard fan of grunge. I like grunge.
Oh no, but grunge is like Nirvana shit, man.
I don't like Nirvana, though,
It's interesting.
but I like grunge, like Alice in Chains. I like
Yeah,
Alice in
I
Chains.
know what you mean. I got you. Yeah, like we're like totally opposite ends of the spectrum technically. Like in terms of what we really enjoy. I can tell. Just from like talking about music, we are
Yeah,
very much like
and
opposite
that
ended.
well, that's also the point of this.
hmm
And I will listen to metal because I like metal.
Yeah.
I like the things I listen to with that.
hmm
But and I would probably choose those things over the things that I do listen to normally.
Makes sense.
But I can't listen to that stuff at work normally because it's not easy for me being half deaf to listen to metal properly with earbuds.
Now, when just put it on like the loudspeaker, you'll be sorted.
I would get fired in 2 minutes.
Probably actually. Depends on what you're listening to, but yeah. Considering you live in like where you live as well. Yeah, you're right. Probably.
I would get fired in 2 minutes when they came around and thought that I was summoning demons into the damn shipping area.
I know, right? I mean, I can't say I blame them, considering like some of the stuff that you could be listening to. Even like Dimmu Borgir would sound like fucking the craziest shit they've ever heard in their life.
All it does to them.
Yeah.
They mock the fact of they mock yeah, they mock growling wrestling. They mock growling, music and
Yeah.
lyrics. They mock, uh, anything that isn't almost, in a way, country or hard rock.
Well, yeah, but that's because that's where they're from. That's what they're alienated with. Like I've said
Yeah, but
in like so many different things, man. People are so brainwashed by society. They think that just because this is like what everybody else does, that's what they have to do. Like
alright.
so good.
Sorry, go ahead. I was gonna say, now that I was talking about people I know, I've gotta take a minute here because I know and you'll have to excuse me, but I have to do this one time.
Okay.
Fuck you, Will.
Why?
I am done.
Okay. Okay, so explain.
When you get to this part of the podcast, come to me and tell me to fuck off. Thank you, Will.
You fucking testing him to make sure he actually listens to the podcast and he isn't talking shit. I see what you're
Yeah,
doing.
yeah. Play games with me.
Pretty much.
But anyway, yeah, but that I mean, you're right. We are on a lot of different sides of the or two opposite sides of the thing. And that's not necessarily a bad thing because um
No, it's just definitely
I
like
am learning like I'm expanding my library onto the stuff that you listen to.
makes sense.
Like a lot of the stuff that you've suggested to me to look. I ain't looked in the visual K yet. I need to.
I can give you some answers
Just
if
to
you
see if I
it,
can just to
like,
see if I
yeah,
can
yeah,
stand the sound of it.
yeah.
And that's just because I don't know if it will do me good.
Like the only thing I will say about Visual K is that they sing like the way their natural tone when they sing, like when like when Asian people sing, it's a different tone to what we used to. So it takes time to get used to it. It's a very not an acquired taste, but it's a you need to give it a bit. I would say that's the only thing I would say about Visual K. It does take a
Okay.
few listens of a band or a thing to kind of get into it. Like I mean, I've
Oh,
done like 300 plus reactions to Visual K. I'm used to it by now, but
yeah, yeah. Oh, and by the way, you remember back when I sent you the pictures of those 2, industrial guys and you clipped that one out and said he looked like more Visual K?
yeah,
That was your aunt screaming into the microphone.
that was my what?
That was your aunt screaming into the microphone.
No idea what you're on about. What?
That's what you said the Cyclone 9 singer sounded like, an ant screaming into the microphone.
Oh, an ant scream. Sorry, your accent killed.
Yeah,
I'm so sorry.
it's alright, but that was your aunt.
Yeah, that's all.
I'm just saying that guy. That was your aunt.
Yep,
That was your insect.
yep. Yes, he literally did sound like an ant screaming into a microphone. He literally did. That's
I mean,
literally
I'm
what
not
his voice
gonna
sounds
deny
like.
that. I just figured I'd tell you, you do at least know what the guy looks like.
That's true. It looks way too metal for what he sounds like.
Now, to be fair, that's because of the other guy with him. Because there was a time where, he was down real like, about the time that album was released that I gave you that song from, he was real down bad and real big drug problems for himself.
Makes sense.
And then Tim Scold, I don't know if you've ever heard the name before. If you haven't, that's fine. But the other guy in that picture, he started working with him
Yeah,
and pulled him up out of that. And he's done stuff since then that sounds a little bit better than that I sent you.
it's good.
But that's one thing Tim has done a lot over the course of his career is he goes into other groups. Like he helped Marilyn Manson for a while.
Okay.
Um, he's been in a lot of other groups. He used to be. I don't know if you've ever heard of Shotgun Messiah before. Probably not.
No, I haven't.
But I wouldn't think so because it's more of a glam metal, and that's probably not nowhere even in your ballpark,
No
is it?
idea. No. I mean, the only thing that I do back then, like I love like art as an example, but I don't listen to a lot of like glam rock metal or anything like that.
Because he even had there's glam metal. He had the whole glam look and all
Mm-hmm.
that shit.
Yeah, yeah. All the
But
cross dressing that like Visual K does as well.
mhm. And, so he's helped a lot of people with their problems, not necessarily just musically, but personal problems.
Yeah, makes sense.
So, that doesn't make his own music probably he's an industrial musician for the most part, so
Yeah, but I mean, like there's industrial that sounds amazing. Like I said, it just needs to be done right. Like the only
yeah,
problem I had with the one you sent was that it was too repetitive. And obviously he sounds like an ant, but you know what I mean.
yeah, but hopefully with me giving that little bit of the backstory, you might be able to see that he may have been going through something
It's
with
okay.
that because it
But like,
doesn't sound
I never judge off
good.
like one thing somebody does, man. Like even some of my favorite bands in the world have like released really fucked up shit. Just look at Cinder Cross as an example. The last two have just
I'm
been
try
fucking
I've
horrendous. So
I've been trying for the sake of my hoping that they'll pull around to avoid talking about that yet until this album they've got comes out.
I know, but they've got their third song releasing soon from this album. They just started pre-orders for the album. Basically, like, I think it was yesterday. They started taking pre-orders for it.
I think it said something about the 20th was when the album was supposed to drop, right?
I think it's November. Is it November? I actually don't know.
They were doing a countdown to it on Spotify, I don't
Oh, if they
remember.
are, then it's probably right. And
I thought it said the 20th, I could be wrong, that could be something different.
yeah, it's not really giving me a date here. Like it
I'm
just
trying to
says
pull up my
2024 here. I probably need to find them on Twitter. Do that.
give me a moment.
Really, man.
Well, I might find it, and if I do, then I can give if I find it before you.
The new single is out on the 26th of September, but that's not the album. The album is going to be like
Okay, so
Octo-
that's what they're
October 3rd. There
October 3rd. Yeah, it just told me up here now, actually.
we
I
go.
got a YouTube notification on my damn phone telling me the 26th after you said that.
Hmm.
But I'm hoping that that does something that good, and I hope they get back to what they were doing.
I hope so, because I mean, I supported them through lockdown. Like I was like on the Patreon for on Patricia's Patreon for all of lockdown, like well most of lockdown, should I say? Just to keep them going, because obviously they're a small Spanish band, so it's not like they have a lot of money coming in.
Mhm.
So me and a few other
That's the
people,
thing I
we just
liked about them the most.
that's like I'd support them, and I've met Patrice in real life. I've spoken to her. Like we've hung out a bit and seen them play live, all that stuff when they came over to England last time. Like she specifically came, like when she went to England, she specifically went to Birmingham, where I live, and just so that I could watch them play live and all that shit. Like she literally like booked it that way,
Mhm.
so that we could meet and chat and all that good shit. So like it's not like I'm a hater of the band or anything like that. I've supported them for like a very long time. I just hate the direction they're going with.
Yeah, and the only thing I really hate about a lot of it myself, granted, she is still trying to find her. I don't know why. It sounds like she's still trying to find the voice she wants to use.
No, it's because she's learning basically. Like she's been listening to a lot of Infant Annihilator and a bunch of deathcore and a lot of Visual K like Devilith, which are very much like deathcore vocalist, and you can tell in the way her voice is changing. In this new album, especially on that first one they dropped, she's
Yeah.
using a lot of deathcore vocal techniques. The way she's like changing her voice sounds very that styled. That makes sense. They even did a Suicide Silence cover. That's a deathcore band. So.
Oh, yeah, they did.
Mhm.
And the only thing I'll say about that is she sounded really close to the guy that did it to begin with.
I would say she's about equal with Mitch. I would say probably, which is impressive because like Suicide Silence is like old school deathcore heads, man. Like Suicide Silence are one of the best to ever do it. So, but
I actually tried to promote her to some people at work using comparing those two songs together. And because I got some people that at least knew who one of the two were,
that's good at least.
not all of them,
No,
a
because
couple people my age,
yeah.
but and they liked it based off of that.
Hmm? What about
But
the other shit? Like what about like Dark Seed or the Kami or whichever way?
I don't know if they've gotten any deeper into it than that.
Oh yeah, I know, but I
But,
mean they
but
change a lot
I
depending
like,
on what era you hear them in. So,
yeah, I've noticed that a lot.
like for me, my favorite era is probably the one with Dark Seed on it, and that album specifically. It's probably my favorite era of all of them. Like their new stuff is good, but it's never quite resonated fully with me yet. Like it sounds like good for what they do, but I can see Patricia's going into her own of like her vocality is getting crazy, but the message she's putting out is kind of like the first song. Like I didn't hate the first song because it didn't sound good. I hated it for the meaning of that.
You know that bunnies and bows shit?
Yeah, that Bunnies and Bows. Like if you went through the lyrics, I don't know if you've read the lyrics for that
I've
song.
listened and read the lyrics to that.
Yeah, that's what threw me off that song because she sounds amazing, vocally, she has an amazing sound in that song. But then again,
Yeah,
that's what.
I
But like you've got to remember, like the way Sin Cross promote their shit, it's very sexual in nature. Like that, like a lot of bands do it that way. Like it seems very sexual in the way they do shit, and even more so
mhm.
nowadays, they're adding more like crazy shit that I've seen like her post on Twitter, and I'm just like, I see what you're doing, but I don't know. Things like that kind of make me cringe, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't out of all the stuff they've put out when that one was there and I listened to that one, I did not understand why that was the subject matter in those lyrics
No, me either.
for
She
that.
she was trying to say something along the lines of this is what she goes through on like a daily, weekly, whatever basis. But then again, like I've just said, the way she promotes the band and herself is sexual in nature. So if you're promoting yourself like in that way, what do you expect to get back from that? That makes sense.
And even if she didn't do that,
No.
she's a female musician,
Yeah.
and that's exactly what a fair bit of the audience is going to do anyway,
Yeah.
just because of what she is.
Yeah, that makes sense. Then again, like for me, I saw past that. I saw the amazing vocalist. I saw the amazing artist, and then of course
Yeah,
like I heard like Cinecross's soundtrack, and the guitarist and drummer are fucking insane. I'll say the drummer in Cinecross is one of the best live drummers I've ever heard. Dude is a fucking monster.
and I mean, what drew me to her was, ironically, her vocals on me. Look and see. I want to get the exact name of the album because I don't want to be insulting because I believe it deserves some credit anyway. You know what I
Hmm.
mean?
Yeah.
Be credited
Oh
properly.
yeah, it was a Malice Murder for my one as well. Pretty sure they have. Anybody would like to listen to one?
Malice Murder is not the one that I'm referring
No, that's
to.
the one I was referring to. That's the one that
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
like the
yeah.
most.
That one. Um, I can't pronounce the last word on this, so please do it for me.
Sure.
The Death Bullets album. I can't pronounce that last word that starts with an F. I cannot do it.
Let me. Death Bullets for a Foragido.
Okay, because I just don't have the.
Or it could be a Florida, because it's Spanish and it's
But there were some songs on that one. Um, let me see. I believe Billy the Kid's on that one, ain't it? Yeah, it is.
yeah, I think so.
Most of those on there where she uses her voice and can. I don't know if I'm explaining it the right way. Do it for me.
Just
Correct me,
just
please.
just
But
explained.
her rolling certain letters when she sings them.
Oh yeah, that's because she's Spanish, man. Like that's how they pronounce
I
words.
know that that's why that she does. I know that's how. I know she's Spanish.
I know, but that's why, and that's why it sounds so good because she's it's natural. Like when
Yeah.
when somebody forcibly rolls the R, it sounds different. To somebody who can naturally do.
Mhm.
It, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and that was the stuff that drew me to them,
Mhm.
was her ability to do that, and then I looked up that they were from Spain, and then I was like, "Well, this is neat. I don't know any bands personally myself from Spain, so maybe I should pay attention to this."
Definitely.
And that's what, kinda drove me in their direction, and then the new stuff has started to happen, and I hope it's a phase.
You hope it's a face. It could be like a in between album. Like trying to find ideas because right now, if I was in the band, I wouldn't be happy personally. Whether they are, whether they're not, I don't know. Because basically every member of Sin Cross, I think, apart from Patricia, work full-time jobs as well. So so they're trying to, so like they're trying to make it big. Trying to make it so they can like earn money and all that shit from what they do. But then again, they're having to find time in between work and jobs and stuff like that. So obviously Patricia's the manager. She does everything. She does all the touring. She does all the merchandise. Like she designs it. She draws the art for it. She does every single thing. So she is extremely busy. So, but if I was a person in that band, I wouldn't be as if
You cut
that makes
out
sense.
pretty good there.
Yeah, I know I could hear it. For some reason, my audio
you need to
interface keeps disconnecting. With the USB, the audio
mhm.
interface keeps
So
disconnecting.
you're gonna have to go over that again
Where
after
was it?
talking about, her being the manager
Oh,
and all. You're right.
so like she's the manager of the band, right? She does like all the big shit that they do, and like all the other members basically have to work. Right, they have normal jobs like 9 to 5s. They have to find time around that to tour and do stuff, and use a lot of their what would be the holiday season or whatever, just to tour and do all of that shit. Be away from their families, and so it's
Mm.
hard to be a member of that band, I would imagine. Especially with the new shit that's coming out, especially if maybe they agree with it, maybe they don't. I'm not putting words into their mouths, I don't know. But as for me, as somebody who enjoys what they do, somebody who enjoys music in general, it just sounds like the band aren't as enthused as what they were before.
You will know if people start getting replaced, the answer to that question, probably.
I don't think that anybody will get replaced. I think it's like a very much like a tight knit band. I mean, I think they have replaced one person, but not recently, but in the last few years. But that was mutual, if that makes sense. It was a time thing. I think it wasn't anything bad stuff, but
Mhm.
well, we will see as we go. Like if it starts to go to shit, we'll probably see it happen. So
That's the sad thing about it because I hope I really do. I hope they get to where they start world touring where I might be able to see them, but,
yeah, there's loads of
by the
people
time they
over
get
by you who want to see them, and there's loads of people around there who
but
want to see them.
by the time they do world touring, though, I don't wanna hear some of the songs that they got on the newer stuff.
Oh, I know, but you're gonna have to. Unfortunately, it's like going to watch Crazily Filth and having to deal with Danny Filth who can't sing live anymore. It's just that kind of
No, it's sad on that. But there again, he's done so much damage to his voice over his career that
yeah. I think the way he growled originally was just damaging. Like the way the tones he was coming out with, they sounded amazing,
yeah.
but I think just the way he was producing them was very unsafe. I don't know specifically. I've never really studied the way he growls, like in the early days anyway.
Do you now I'm just gonna ask because 'cause I'm not as educated with this part. Do you think his high screams could be part of damaging him too?
I mean, all his screams. I don't mean like just like high or whatever. Because if you scream badly, it fucks up your throat. Because like the basically when you like in your voice, right, you have different areas. So you have your vocal cords, then you have like the vocal folds above that, and so on and such forth. So where screaming is meant to come from, it's meant to come from. You're not meant to feel your vocal cords at all. It's meant to be there so it protects them. And you're meant to use the vocal folds and everything above that in order to create that sound. So if you
Mm,
don't do it that way and you use the vocal cords to scream, it damages your voice.
because, I mean, every time I'd seen him live trying to do a lot of stuff, especially when he's tried to do,
It looks painful.
Amphetamine live,
It
it
looks
looks like
fucking
he's
painful.
hurting himself.
Yeah, it looks painful. Like especially with the highs, it looks painful live just from the ones that I've seen. I saw him on the Nymphetamine tour, like literally when they were touring Nymphetamine originally,
Yeah.
and even then, it wasn't as damaged to the point it is now, but it was still damaged. You could hear it.
Yeah, but yeah, I'm glad I'm not the only one that, sees that. Obviously, you would see it probably quicker than I would, but
Hmm.
it did. It just looked like like you said, like we've already covered it. It looks and I'm surprised he's able to keep going for I mean, he'll do it because he does it, but
Yeah,
that just looks like it's not being able to talk good for the next day or two after doing a show. But
I I know, but I mean they do like loads of shows where they do like day after day after day. So he must be grounding right now. It could just be the high screams nowadays that just hurt his voice. You never know.
mm,
Because I mean, after that first initial damage, he hasn't damaged it more since that point. If that makes sense, it stayed the same. He hasn't completely lost his voice. If that makes sense, there's a lot of people when you damage your voice through growling, it's like you lose your voice completely. Like you can't growl anymore. Like
yeah,
just stops.
Jonathan Davis almost destroyed his voice too
Hmm.
by doing shit he does.
I mean, yeah, there's a lot of vocalists who probably do, but that's the thing with like you got to remember. But back then, there wasn't YouTube to discover how to fucking growl right. There wasn't like a whole bunch of fucking vocal coaches who can help you learn how to sing, which in turn can help you
Mm.
learn how to growl. especially
Yeah.
with some of the reactors who also do vocal teaching at the same time. Where they
Hmm.
offer to train you, and they'll teach you how
Yeah.
to sing clean, they'll teach you how to growl, they'll teach you safely how to do the shit. Even for me, when I was learning originally how to growl, all I've learned is all self-taught. Like up until recently, the way that I learned to growl was just through trial and error. That could easily damage your voice.
Yeah. It could. Because I guess the biggest reason is for that is what? It's just not natural for our voices to do these things,
No,
and
it's
that's
completely
what's
natural for our voices to do it, but to do it safely is a whole other issue.
mhm.
Like,
Well, yeah.
like growling isn't like singing. Like, isn't not everybody can sing like say a powerful singer, right? Like people can sing to some variance or to some degree, but everybody can growl to if they trained enough to do it. Everybody has the capability to make crazy demonic or dinosaur sounding sounds, basically.
Dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Just picture a pterodactyl on a fucking microphone screaming at the
No,
top
that's
of its
literally what it is.
lungs.
That's what they call it. That really, really high pitched scream that Danny Felth does, or what Beyond Deviation do. That is a pterodactyl scream. That's what it's called.
I'm just saying a picture of the pterodactyl there doing it.
I can imagine. But yeah, no, like it's just that
But
a lot of us were just like we were too early. Like that's how things evolve. Do you really think like when the first death metal vocalists tried to do what they did, and when Death did what they did, like they didn't know what the fuck they were doing, man. They just experimented.
mhm. And then it took off for them, I guess.
Exactly.
And
Yeah, because like Chuck Snyder, I think it's Snyder. It's not. Well, Chuck he basically invented half of what death metal is now. He invented Melodeath way before it was everything. He invented death. He invented all these things before it was everything. They are one of the most influential bands that have pushed forward like harsh vocal music. So bands like Cannibal Corpse in like early '89 and loads of bands like that.
my first exposure to Cannibal Corpse was in the Ace Ventura movie.
I think that was a lot of people's first experience with Cannibal Corpse. They were like, "Yo, what the fuck is this?" Oh yeah. I mean, at least like Jim Carrey was like really cool about it. I was like, you know what? I want you on my film. Like, we'll promote your band because it was Hammer Smash Face as well, wasn't it? I'm pretty sure if I remember rightly. In
I
Ace
don't know
Ventura.
what they did.
Yeah, it was Hammer Smash Face.
Oh,
I'm pretty sure. So
I didn't follow them very much. I tried to listen to them after hearing them on there, but at that time in my life, it wasn't my thing.
makes sense. I've seen them live. I saw them in Vakken. They were amazing. There was, I think it went something like crazy in that lineup. It was like Cannibal Corpse followed by Mortal, followed by a few other bands, or like before that or after that. It was insanity, as you can imagine.
Mm.
But yeah,
Yeah.
do you have any more topics that you'd like to chat about? Anything you've written
Well,
down?
I mean, I would imagine that I'm going to have to have you give some suggestions out there if you feel like that's a safe time to do that about, let's say, some entry level metal for or whatever genre you want to do for people to listen to.
I definitely could
To
do that.
unless you only want to save that for your streams, I don't know,
I know it's fun. I can do some
but
like basic shit if you just want to get into genres of music. We could even
but
do that like once per stream where I just choose a genre and pick some bands that you might like if you're just getting into it.
yeah, because there's some. I mean, I would just go ahead and tell you the guy that I basically called out. If he actually does intend to listen to these things and listens to them to this point, he likes to be shown new stuff as well. So I'm imagining that he wouldn't be the only one that would like to have some suggestions of stuff to do if they didn't know where to start with particular genres.
Makes sense. Okay, let's go for you.
So,
So like if I was trying to get you into visual, okay, let me just go down the list that I have, right? I would definitely do some more Japanese style music. So I would definitely do some like Unlucky Morpheus, which is more like a symphonic style, but Japanese, obviously. Like a very powerful symphonic. They have a bit of growling in there if you want like growling in your music. If you want something that's more Melodeath, something that's more epic, I would start with something like Imperial Circus Dead Decadence or ICDD for sure. I mean, it depends what you're into, like I said, but for you, I would probably start you on something like Jaluka. because they are very much electronic, but they are deathcore. So they are heavy, but they have loads of electronic stuff that kind of. Did my mic cut out? Yeah, it cut out for a second.
I want to say that that name I've heard before, but I don't know if I've ever listened to it.
I mean, it's definitely worth it. Like Jaluka are amazing. I seen them live this year, like I feel like a couple of months ago, like a month ago. I even it was their first time in the UK, and easily the best live band I've ever seen. Like in terms of like pure energy and performance and how tight they were and all that shit. Probably the best live band I've ever seen in my life, and there are probably much better bands than Jaluka out there in Japan. So then again, like I also got into it through things like Nocturnal Bloodlust and Bloodstained Child as an example. They're not really visual K, but they're more like electronic melodeath, which is very different. It's a whole different ways. Let's see.
Mm,
I'm just going through random bands at this point. So for you, I would probably start with something like Revival of the Era, maybe Ari or something like that. ARI, like that band. Like, there's a few
mhm.
that you can search. They're on Spotify, they're on iTunes or Apple Music if you want to call it that. Most things are on YouTube, like for sure. And I would feel there'd be a lot of people's things. Like it just depends what you're into. If it's too heavy, go for one of the ones that are a bit less heavy. Because you could
Mhm.
even start with something like Kizu, which are very clean, but they're very epic with what they do. But yeah, lots of stuff.
All right.
So what about for you? What
And
sounds interesting?
I think I'll go with that one that you mentioned. I'm gonna have to get you to link them to me
Yeah, well, I'll link you the link.
because I was trying not to interrupt you at all as much as I could,
Yeah.
but I want more of the symphonic stuff is more what I'm into actually. So the best direction from that
Oh,
would
for
be the
symphonic
best way.
stuff, like we should definitely go with the Unlucky Morpheus route and go on from there.
The reason I say that is because correct me if I'm wrong, but I feel that would be a good place to branch off since I already am so fond of Dimmu Borgir and they have symphonic
Oh yeah, but I
in
mean
their stuff.
this is like clean symphonic. Like that's what Unlucky Morpheus is. So it's like clean symphonic. That makes sense.
Well, I mean that's fine.
Like Epica or Nightmare Shore, that type of shit. Basically.
Mm, yeah.
But yeah, I'll link you some stuff. Like you can just sort of see what you think, and we can go from there. Like, so once I know what you like, once I can hear like kind of what you want to be into, I can find you more stuff that sounds similar to that thing. And obviously, you can find stuff
and
that sounds similar to that as well. So,
mhm. And I guess I'll throw in my own 2 cents, and this is not necessarily, the best of the best, but I'd say if you're gonna go into entry level with, to say industrial stuff, if anybody wants to go down that rabbit hole. I know this is a metalhead podcast where we're talking more about that genre, but me as a person, I'm bringing some industrial stuff that does go into metal eventually in some ways.
yeah,
So if people want to start out with industrial, a good place to do that would be KMFDM. That would be a pretty good place, I would think, to start.
makes
It's a
sense.
lot of manufactured music, but it's industrial is just for the most part that they do play some instruments in industrial, yes, but a lot of industrial is manufactured music. It's not played most of the time.
Yep, you can make it on a laptop. Basically, it's kind of what it's there for.
But there again, that's where you see a lot of solo acts in industrial because of that fact alone, where it's just the guy that does it.
Well, yeah, I mean, you
They
get that.
might bring people out.
Yeah, you get that a lot of ways. Like you get a lot of solo deathcore artists. Weirdly, I don't know why, but there's a lot of them that are just like solo and they make amazing shit. And it's just one dude, and it's just like, how the fuck did you even do this?
And for people out there, just the instrumental side of things. Uh, if you're trying to learn how to play, I would say start listening to a lot of Paul Gilbert stuff. Um, if you're more advanced, go into John Five or go into Buckethead. If you're still more the old fashioned way, do Joe Satriani stuff. That stuff's always nice to listen to.
Makes sense, man.
but it's not a lot of metal with some of them. John's probably about the only metal one in there. Buckethead's a little bit uh, on the fence a lot of times. His is over. I don't know if you've ever listened to Buckethead before, but if you haven't, he's pretty erratic. He uses a lot of effects with his guitar playing.
That's together. It could be really cool. You never know. It depends on a whole bunch of stuff. Like things just it's like person to person. So some people could listen
Mhm.
to it and find it amazing. Some people could find it bad. Just depends.
And I might throw a Buckethead one at you every now and then. I don't know because I know for a fact he has not been over there because he won't. He's only been to Japan
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
because he has a love for anime and Japanese stuff. In fact, him and a funk artist named Bootsy Collins, they did one of the tracks for the Future Trunks uh, movie for the DBZ stuff.
Well, that's really cool. Sounds
So,
so the super nerdy anime guys basically. That's what you're saying.
well, at least Bucket is.
Yeah,
Bootsy don't probably know what anime is half the time. He's probably not on the earth most of the time
yeah. He's high as a kite, is what you're saying.
because he's a funk artist and he's also an African American funk artist. So
Mm-hmm.
he's up there on the clouds a lot of the time.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Well, yeah,
But he's good at if you like funk, he's good to listen to for that. But funk is way on off the deep end from what we're talking about.
just a little bit, just a bit. I mean,
Just a
like,
bit.
it's good to have like differing things because, like, if you listen to anything that I suggest, it's going to be relatively heavy. But if you listen to things that Kai is suggesting, it's going to be a little bit more. I wouldn't say tame, but like more approachable, should I say?
Yeah, my stuff, I will not deny that one bit. I can get you to the door, he can get you through the door. That's the way that we'll go. Unless you go the other way and go rock or punk or funk or whatever.
Yeah.
If
But
you
I
go that
mean,
way, he can't help you.
oh no,
Well, he
that's
might
true.
be able to help you with rock
I mean,
because rock can turn into metal.
yeah, I mean, I can help you if you want to listen. Like, if you want to hear stuff that's going to be mind-blowingly heavy, but also technical and powerful, and but it takes time to get into. That's kind of what I do. So
And I mean, you made a good point to me earlier, man. I need to let people know the stuff that I listen to and where I've come from because one, it'll introduce them more to me. It'll make you roll your eyes about what I say.
yep,
Maybe
possibly.
I'll have to watch the video to see what you did when I started talking about what I was just a moment ago.
You will.
But when I was giving my own suggestion, but
You see, though, this
in
isn't
the
quite
end,
fair because, like, you can see like what I'm thinking, like like as you're like, as I'm talking. But there's no cam for you, so I can't even like do the same thing, man.
you would have not wanted to see what happened when I had that coffee incident when you were talking about
No, see,
your
that would have been
ultimate
perfect
review.
fucking shorts material, but I would have used it for that.
I know.
That's okay.
We should have saved Helsing for a month.
Yeah, I know. That's totally fine.
But but in the end, this is what? Just for us to show people music,
Not just for that.
right?
It's just topics or music or whatever the fuck we
Well, I'm
really
just
want to do.
saying, when it comes to music, we shouldn't be segregational about it. We should except for the stuff that I'm just saying, if people wanna listen to it, they listen to it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna suggest any country bands.
I mean, you sound like you could, so couldn't help it. That's-
You can't keep going on that joke. That joke's dead now.
nope.
We're 3 episodes in.
Nope. This is going to be the joke for the next 120 episodes. I don't give a singular fuck.
Yes, but it's not gonna hit very well now because it's already over.
Nope. Never. Never ever. It will always be amusing to me, and that's all that matters to me.
Well, yeah, that is all that matters.
hmm
But I'm about out of shit for this one. I don't know about where you're at.
Yeah, I'm the same. I mean, we're like an hour and 40 odd into it, man. I think we're good.
Well, I mean, if we average an hour and a half or more normally, that's
Yep.
easily listenable to a lot of people. People don't want these epic story time with Kai and Makai. I mean, we're not reading Lord of the Rings to them or something like that.
No, I think like it's better to do like try not to run out of shit to say, Basically, I think once you start running out of shit to say, it kind of gets weird. So,
Well, I'm not out of shit to say, I just don't wanna use up everything we've got.
oh yeah, no, we're not going to use up everything we've got because we started on a topic that only took 40 minutes, as an example. So we've had to kind of not fill time,
Yeah,
talk
I
shit.
do have to give you all the credit in the world for that, man, that you were able to help pull 40 minutes out of that damn shit that you had to go through.
I know, right? I mean, I
I
stretched it.
mean, I
I tried to stretch it anyway.
yeah,
But yeah, man, I
but
think we'll do better with this.
the second half of this whole thing has been good. We've talked about a lot of things that might be okay,
I hope so.
I think,
I guess we'll
because I think the
see as we
music
release
was
it.
far more useful than the damn Hellsing.
I mean, at least they got a good review out of it for me. Like, like as to how much I enjoyed it.
They got a typical Makai review of
Yeah,
a thing that Makai does not like.
that's the one. I mean, I hope people found it useful, even if it is like I don't know. It could be like offensive, but everything I say could be offensive. That's kind of what I do.
You're offensive just living, man.
I know,
You offend me.
I know, and that's all for the better. It makes the world a better
Who the
place.
who the fuck unbinds their strafe buttons?
Me. Who needs a strafe button? I need all the buttons to press so I can cast spells.
But yeah, I think we'll have to catch you guys around next time. I don't know what we're gonna. Do you have an idea where you're gonna go next time, or have you even thought that far ahead for us yet?
Nope. I'll think of something. I need to find a topic that we can
God,
talk about for like a good hour or so.
God damn you. Okay,
No.
yeah.
I'm not going to commit to anything,
Anyway,
but you'll see. It'll be a surprise.
my closing.
Yep.
You closing.
Nope. You started.
I'm closing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm closing. All right, I will close. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this little podcast episode here, trying to give a review on Hellsing Abridged for what failure of a parody that was to
Yep.
the
That
source
piece of shit
material.
show.
I have been Kai. That was Makai. We will catch you guys in episode 4, and hopefully we won't lose the primary topic in the first 40 minutes, but I'm on the show, so the chances of that happening are very slim to none.
That's true. I mean, it depends how long you can talk about something, but still. But yeah, anyways, I'm getting off topic. See you guys later. Thank you for watching.
Yep. I'll catch y'all later.